The AFL's third attempt at trying to clear up what happened in Perth around the Lachie Schultz concussion. 6 days, 3 statements. It opened a chasm between the league and its umpires and has raised questions of leadership, decision-making and integrity.
It hasn't changed too much from our perspective. Obviously, a little bit surprised with some of the internal communications, but from our perspective, it doesn't really change our position, which was we felt like on the night that play should have been stopped, but I think everyone's in general agreement with that.
Yep. Injured player in the middle.
Yep.
I'm watching. Let go. You. Still me. Are we looking?
We're okay.
Try to understand.
You watch. Oh.
It felt like out here in the moment that like someone's in a state like that and we're still running around chasing a footy. It didn't feel right.
If it's up the other end of the ground, I think there's reason to sort of let play go. But as soon as there's any chance of the play coming near the injured play, you stop the game.
We can only stop it if the ball's coming.
You stay, JP.
No. Or if they instruct us. I understand, but that's what we're instructed to do.
Had the ball. He had the ball. Don't worry.
He tackled him, didn't he?
Yeah. Stay calm.
I think there's been times where it hasn't quite been, we had, as you said, our incident the week before, which I can comment on a little bit more, but, I think there's some issues going on at the moment that I'm sure the AFL would much rather be done better.
It is the sort of story that erodes public faith in an administration, and it has warts all over it. If I was going to take a stab at it, Gaz, I would lay it out like this. I reckon an AFL staffer rang the umpire's coach in the post-game. There were crossed wires, which meant that the subsequent clarification that was issued was wrong. The AFL never checks its vision and audio. Channel 7 does. The AFL says the umpires misled them. The umpires had never been asked. The umpires are labelled liars on TV, and there's a university lecture in how it all gets resolved from here. So the third statement has come from Laura Kane just a short time ago. Our process in determining what happened Thursday night failed, and for that we take full responsibility. Today we have determined there was a miscommunication from members of the umpiring department, not the field umpires, which formed the basis of our initial public statement on Friday. Those team members have been counselled and reminded of the importance of ensuring our process is fully followed regarding these types of incidents, and in this instance it was not. I've asked the GM of Football Performance, Josh Marnie, to review these processes to ensure the right information is communicated and to ensure this does not happen again. Everyone, including our umpires, are aligned in ensuring the health and safety of players. Continues to be the utmost priority, and the AFL has been in regular contacts with the AFL-UA today. This is bumbling of the highest order, and it is chastening for the administration of the biggest sport in the land.
I'll take a stab that the way you set it out is exactly how it happened. So the umpires are the ones that have been wronged in this most grievously, and they're the ones who have got the biggest issue. As you say, they've been labelled liars. They've been set up for a 4-game suspension when in fact what they're accused of doing didn't happen. Now, there are other components that we can get into about whether or not the game should have been stopped, but right now that's the biggest issue, and the chain of communication and how it works at AFL level is in disarray.
Disarray, it takes your breath away, really. And you think about, there are 4 umpires involved. Simon Meredith is the most decorated of them, and I can only imagine how he has felt across the period of these 6 days.
Yeah.
Never asked.
He was never asked in this whole process. A man who's umpired 500 games of football was never asked. I think that's enough right there. It tells you how badly this has been handled.
And then the second part is the AFL never checked its own vision and audio, which is... So this is... They didn't do their work last week, and they didn't do their work this week.
It's amazing on the back of a week that they had that you then think... And again, we can talk about hindsight, but these are organisations that are employed to do this job and not make these mistakes here. So a week down the track after they had this issue, go and have a listen to the tape. Just won't take long. We've got the audio there. We'll find out. We'll be able to definitively say. Paul Marsh saying here that they're equally disappointed that the AFL failed to appropriately review a serious on-field incident, but acknowledged that they've taken responsibility. Also talked about the safety of the player. I agree with him on that. The game should have stopped at the earliest convenience. And anyone that takes issue with that, who says, "Oh, the ball's up the other end," this was a serious brain injury, Gerard. This is not a sore knee or a sore ankle. Or we've stopped the games in the past because players are out of breath. So when his hand is stuck in the motion that it was, and then you hear that umpire say, "Ooh," when he falls back down, then you know you're dealing with a really serious issue. So just stop the game in mine. And I spoke to a medico today, I won't say who, obviously. He had to come off on the stretcher. This is an area that I'm not... So I went and deliberately spoke to someone else, and his comment to me was, of the 50,000 people in that stadium, the one person who was least in a position to determine whether he ran off the ground was Lachie Schultz. So there's learnings in that as well. And I know it's a difficult... I saw the doctors trying to stop him, and he was pretty headstrong. If that's a neck injury, then he stays down. Doesn't matter if he wants to get up, Gerard. You stay down and you do not move. That has to be the messaging there. But anyway, that's getting away from the absolute hard
but the tightening of that principle would serve the game well. So it didn't instantly occur to me that I thought the depiction that play had been allowed to go on dangerously. That didn't quite ring true to me. But to hear you explain it like that,
yeah, it doesn't even have to be dangerously. This was. We don't have to show it again. This is when you see that arm motion, and then he got up and went down to ground again, and the doctors were doing their best. Just stop the game. And okay, if everyone says, "Oh, he's okay," all right. What harm's done? It's a brain injury. Stop the game for however long. Get him off the ground. Start it again. And so hopefully there's some learnings from that as well. But in terms of where this goes, the umpires' relationship with the AFL is strained anyway. I think it's fair to say, and this is not going to help.
How damaging to the leadership of the AFL do you think, particularly in the public's eyes, to have 2 weeks in a row episodes that have taken all week to resolve, where it looked like initially the judgment or the process was wrong?
Yeah, I think the public's default position is to doubt the AFL anyway, which is a really difficult position for them. No one barracks for the AFL, so they're coming from behind. And the last 2 weeks have put them even further behind, Gerard. And you're better placed to talk about the machinations of what goes on at AFL House. You know, they are trying to get an extra football head to get into that department. Like we're talking the Garlic or a Tom Harley or an Amit Baines type. And when you see this thing unfold, then you're not surprised. This
is still the bedding down period of a new administration, and it is an unflattering picture, which they should be now chronically aware of. I think, to have these episodes happen 2 weeks in a row. There's not strong leadership from the top. That's not... This chief executive's long suit is not that. I think the industry could use some of that at the moment. And then the decision-making internally and the layers to that is pretty well laid bare in an episode like this. And it's hard to put that back together in a short period of time.
I can understand the coaching fraternity. Does a lack of confidence permeate throughout the rest of the competition?
Yes,
you think?
Yeah. I think that's very clear. And because of the relationship, as the AFL dictates a lot to the clubs, and that creates a natural tension.
Yes.
When the AFL is mismanaged in such a way, the resentment is it's forceful.
And how critical is the appointment of I don't know, with the role or the title that they've advertised it as, but it is the Simon Garlic, Tom Harley, Amit Baines. How critical is it that appointment gets made?
It is critical, but the two key planks are in place. The leader of the organisation and the leader of the football department. They are in place and have been for a period of time now. It's their authority to fully establish an exercise. A 2IC might come in, and it might end up being the public face of it, but it sits with Andrew Dillon and Laura Kane right now to show that they are capable of running the organisation, the sport, and that they have a vision for it and a competence to deliver against that vision. That's what's missing, I think, at the moment.
Have they failed the game in the past 2 weeks?
Definitely.
And does your confidence now waver in their ability to lead in the manner that you are suggesting?
I think they have to get going.
Right.
What is it going to be on your watch?
Do you think they can get there? Have you got the confidence that they can get to that level?
They will have to do significantly better than what we have seen from them so far.
So
this is the moment, I reckon. If you get to it, this is the team that is at. This is a team that it's 3-6. Are you going to amount to anything or not? If you want to boil it into football terms, and there's now no room for misstep. we are screaming out for leadership, actual strong leadership, and not just actions, but the words to go with that at the moment.
Interesting time.
They are. They are.